I'm rather proud to tell you I've had a law license for over 50 years. I practiced law. I was a prosecutor when I first came out of law school. Later ran and was elected judge of the County Court Law No. 2 in Lubbock County, Texas. And while I was serving over there, I got appointed to the federal bench, and I was United States Magistrate Judge in the Northern District of Texas for 14 years. And then I retired. And I said to the chief, if there's anything I could ever do for the police department, well, please give me a call. And they called me. They did a survey of all the people at that time who were in the penitentiary that had robbed the bank, and that's what they were in the penitentiary for. And they asked several questions, and one of the questions was, how many times had you been in and cased the room at the bank where you were going to rob them? And about 85% of them answered they'd never been in that room before. So they didn't have any idea. And then one other question was, what plans, before you robbed the bank, had you made to be sure that you made an escape? And about 90% of them answered they hadn't even thought about that. They were just going to go in and rob the bank. No kidding. 95% of the criminals are just dumb, which is a good break for us.
If you've ever picked up a penal code book, or any kind of law book, the first, probably 10% of it is just a bunch of definitions. I mean, you can't understand the laws if you don't know the definition.
Right now we're doing the U.S. Constitution, Penal Code, and Code of Criminal Procedures. In the Constitution, we just got done learning about the Miranda rights, and we're starting, tomorrow we're starting the Sixth Amendment.
Well, right now we're studying the Penal Code, Code of Criminal Procedure, and Constitutional Law.
We could talk about it all day, but one of the most important amendments to the U.S. Constitution is the Fourth Amendment. And the U.S. Constitution is the supreme law of the land. And the Fourth Amendment covers search and seizure and arrest. And so 90% of the time, whatever a police officer is doing, the Fourth Amendment is going to be involved. And so it's very important that they understand what limitations and what liberalities the Supreme Court has put on their activities when they act under the Fourth Amendment. When a policeman pulls a car over for speeding, right then, the Fourth Amendment is in action.
A lot of people have a misconception about this job that officers that do this job are above the law, that they don't have to abide by the same rules, and that can't be any further from the truth. Even by state law, we have to have a camera in every single car that is used for traffic enforcement. The tapes that are in the cars off the cameras, they were reviewed by supervisors. We have more laws that govern our practices and standards than any other job that I know of.
It's important for police officers to know what kind of activities are going on and what they're engaged in that's permitted. Because we want them to make good, solid cases. When they get a criminal, we want them to get them where they have admissible evidence. They go in a house when they didn't have authority to search, they find all kinds of drugs, the drugs are not admissible. And so it's very important to know the limitations and the things that they can do.
We take it seriously, we take a lot of pride in our profession. And for wearing a badge and a gun and all the power that you were entrusted with, it's a huge responsibility. They say, well, I get to have the badge and the gun and respect my authority. You can't demand respect, you have to earn respect by leading by example.
Well, I just think that officers need to know as a routine part of their work what the Constitution says they can and cannot do. And if they act under those standards, then they're going to be in good stead. They also have to study the state law, the Texas law, because in some instances the Texas law is more strict than the Constitution, and where it's more strict, then they need to know about that. When you're out there doing it and something comes up on a moment's notice and you've got to do something right now, you're just going to do whatever it is that your training has taught you to do, hopefully, and hopefully we've given them the right information. It's just very important that our officers know what the law is and that they follow the law. We expect them to. That's done, and we want them to follow it because, like I say, we want them to make good cases. We want the cases to be solid and the evidence to be admissible.